Hola, buenos dias. Mi nombre es Timoteo, and my pronouns are he, him. My name is Tim, and I serve gratefully as minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. We welcome you this morning. Welcome to everybody who is on our virtual campus. Big wave to you all. Welcome to everyone here on our Alluvial Avenue campus. And a welcome to anyone who is catching us later on Facebook or YouTube. We are truly one congregation in many places. Our monthly worship theme for March is the path of vulnerability, and very fitting, as you'll find out as today's service unfolds, looking at the rise of Christian nationalism. We are certainly at a point of vulnerability in the history of our country. We acknowledge that our Alluvial Avenue Church campus sits within the traditional homelands of the Yokuts people, who are the past, present, and future stewards of this land. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or your religious beliefs. We welcome you and your neurodiversity. We offer a safe spiritual home no matter your level of formal education, the amount of money in your bank account, or your disabilities. We celebrate the rainbow of diversity that includes those of us who are lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, non-binary, or gender fluid. You are welcome with or without documentation. No one is illegal at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. All are welcome here. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. We want to give a special greeting to those who are joining us as part of this year's Fresno Interfaith Scholar Weekend, a yearly deep dive into matters relevant and theological. This year's visiting scholar is the Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch, who is the president and CEO of Interfaith Alliance, and we are honored, Reverend Paul, to have you with us today. Welcome. And I would be amiss if I didn't also honor Jim Grant, a good friend of the church, who is a major driving force for the Interfaith Scholar Weekend. And Jim, wherever you are, we appreciate you. There you are, Jim. Yay. So this is for those of you who are on our virtual campus. If you want to have your joys, sorrows, concerns, or gratitudes included in the service in just a little bit, we need you to text them to us at 559-209-4977. That's 559-209-4977. You can also type them into the chat box. But the thing is, you have to do it right now so that we have enough time to write it all down and bring it to the service in just a few minutes. And if you're texting, be sure to text your name so that we know who you are. We've just completed our third week of our annual pledge drive. To give us an update, let's give a rousing welcome to Lisa Lindsay from your pledge drive team.
Buenos dias. Mi nombre es Lisa Lindsay. Good morning. My name is Lisa Lindsay. There's 3 things you need to know about me. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the vice chair on the pledge drive team, and I definitely have laryngitis right now, so forgive my voice. Our annual pledge drive is the time when members and friends of the UU Church of Fresno make a promise of financial support for the upcoming fiscal year. Knowing how much money we all will share with the church allows us to finalize a budget based on the real dollars that we can expect. We are entering into our 4th, hopefully final week, hopefully busiest week of our pledge drive. So if you haven't made your financial pledge, this is the time to do so. This will help keep us connected in community by our care, our love, and our gift. We need your financial help, whether you are on our Alluvial Avenue campus or our virtual campus. If you've never pledged before, please begin your financial support of our church today. Any amount is appreciated. Just email us your pledge to pledge@uufresno.org. If you are on the Alluvial Avenue campus, you can use a smartphone to read our QR code that is now being displayed on the screen, and you'll be taken directly to our Pledge Drive website. If you received a pledge packet in the mail, please return your pledge card in the mail, or pick up a pledge card today at our table in the breezeway on our Alluvial Avenue campus. Now I have the pleasure of announcing our current pledge total. Drum roll, please. The amount is $416,386. So that is 64.46% of our goal. Someone else does the math, I promise. 64.46% of our goal of $645,999. So that means we only have $229,613 left to go. 1 week in the pledge drive, you guys. Please make your pledge today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. And now, here on our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary at home, or in just the quiet of your own heart, let's take a few moments to welcome each other and say buenos dias. As we prepare to begin our service this morning, I invite us to allow the sound of the tingsha to carry us to that place within us that knows that we are good and that we are loved. As Stolen Thunder, with our guest vocalist, Jimmy, prepares to sing One Day, we dedicate this to the memory of Dawn Delosier. This was her favorite song, and Dawn departed far too soon into the mysteries of death.
Two, three, four. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it will all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day. about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving through the waters they raging. And in this mess, you may lose the way. Your head might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you. No way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. Negativity surrounds. I know someday it'll all turn around, 'cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. Yeah, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. We will all be free and proud to be underneath the same sun, singing songs of freedom like, oh. I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, one day. Thank you.
Good morning. Buenos dias. My name is Tina Botts, and my pronouns are she, her. If you have a candle or chalice with you on our virtual campus, bring it close, as we'll be lighting it soon. Our chalice lighting words come from Reverend Sarah Stewart, a Unitarian Universalist minister, adapted. Bring who you are as you enter our church this morning. Bring your best self and your struggling self. Bring your mistakes and your triumphs. Bring your shortcomings and your recommitment to good. Bring yourself here and open your heart to beauty, to truth, to the door that is open to the presence of Spirit, of God, of our own humanity. Here in this place, we are trying to walk together in a peaceable way, trying to eliminate division and hatred and all that separates one from another. We try and we will fall short, but held in love, we try again. We come together this morning, connected in community, to reflect and to dream, to learn and to grow, to raise our voices in song, to remember our principles and our promises, and vow to live by them once again. In this spirit, let's light our chalice or candle at home. Tim, will you light the flame here on our Alluvial Avenue campus?
It is my
Let us rise now in body or spirit and join in the singing the song of praise when the Spirit says do.
Okay, folks, we're doing this in the sort of modified traditional Georgia Sea Island chant style, which means it's just me singing and you, and your accompaniment is going to be a series of folks clapping. And so it's clapping Amnesty Day here at Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. You can choose any rhythm you want or make up your own. And here we go. The folks are going to lay down the groove here, and then we'll join in. 2, 3, 4. You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says, you got to dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance, oh Lord. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to shout. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you got to shout, oh Lord. You got to shout when the Spirit says, you got to march. You got to march when the Spirit says march. You got to march when the Spirit says march. When the Spirit says march, you got to march, oh Lord. You got to march when the Spirit says march. You got to sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. Thank you.
As we say together this church's mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated.
I began attending the Unitarian Church of Fresno, as it was known then, when I moved to Fresno in 1967. I chose it because it was compatible with science, evolution theory, with anthropology. It does not rely on a single mythology as the source of truth, and with my political stance, then called liberal, now called progressive. I wanted these views also for my then 6-year-old daughter. In the next phase, as academia was usurped by business, my colleagues became cynical and embittered, resulting in a graduate school atmosphere of one-up, in which positive, optimistic people become the targets of ridicule and derision. Here, at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, I could connect with people who were realistically optimistic, who believed that even if we could not solve all problems immediately, it was worthwhile to do something. Connecting every Sunday with like-minded, practically hopeful people gave me the strength and emotional support to endure the next work week. Then, with the disaster of the November 2016 election and the near loss of an entire democracy on January 6th, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno became a sanctuary for me, essential for me to cope with the direction our national life is taking. The continuing connection with like-minded people who do not despair supports me and reminds me that I am not alone. There isn't enough money in the world to repay what this church means to me, but for the reasons above, I commit to a yearly pledge appropriate to my income and obligations. And I urge you to do the same. We need this place, and we need each other.
I love it. We welcome kittens as well. Beloved Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh knew well the power of our breath. He once noted, enlightenment is always there. Small enlightenment will bring great enlightenment. If you breathe in and are aware that you are alive, that you can touch the miracle of being alive, then that is a kind of enlightenment. In that spirit, I invite us together to take in a nice, deep, centering breath, imagining we're breathing in peace. We hold the moment. We breathe out love. And yet again, breathing in peace, we hold the moment, we breathe out love. And one last time together, breathing in peace into every cell of our body, we hold the moment, we breathe out love. As we continue breathing together in this sanctuary created by our intention to be together in all our beauty and all our brokenness, I invite you to imagine that your breathing carries you back over the last week, over the last 7 days of living, a gift. And two questions emerge. The first, in the last week, were there moments when you were unskillful in word, thought, or action, or lack of word, thought, or action? What positive intention would you like to carry with you into this new week? I know that many of us carried into this place, either on Alluvial Ave or on our virtual campus, a mix of the week. Some of us had a rough week, a really rough week. Others of us, a week that was a little lighter. But we all have a mix of joy, sorrows, gratitudes, and concerns. And each week we pause to just acknowledge what might be alive within us or in this room. Some of us stopped at the small table on the entranceway to our Alluvial Avenue campus. Others of us in the chat box or on text shared. And this is a bit of what is alive for us. Many of our hearts are broken on this day as we grieve the loss of Don Delosier. Don is a beloved member of this congregation, a member of Stolen Thunder, a friend, a dear friend to many. Her loss was unexpected and shocking. If you'd like to honor Don's life on our virtual campus, we invite you to type the letter D into the chat box. And in our hearts on Alluvial Avenue, we also hold space for Dawn and her memory. Sylvia from our virtual campus is feeling grateful. So much warm support and from Reverend Tim during a now difficult time for me. Thank you. And Sylvia, we are all holding you in our thoughts, in our love, surrounding you with much light in this new chapter and season of your life. Rita T. is asking for positive thoughts for her friend Carol, who will have cancer surgery tomorrow at noon. And so, Rita, we hold Carol in tenderness within our hearts. We also remember our beloveds, those precious to us who cannot be here because of illness or mobility. We remember Tony E., Margaret H., Bev F., Edith H., William H., Glenda R., and Pat M. We remember, too, that this past Thursday, March 10th, was Abortion Provider Appreciation Day. We cannot appreciate enough those folks who provide this essential health care. And so, in our hearts, let us offer our gratitude. I remember this quote by Katie Nutter from Trust Women. She says, "Providing abortion to people who want it affirms both their humanity and our own. Acting in the way that is kindness to our fellow humans is something to strive for." This week also brought news that the Department of Justice released their findings in their investigation in the wake of the brutal murder of Breonna Taylor. And if we could have that side change there, Ian, thank you. By police in an illegal no-knock raid, revealing what the black population of Louisville, Kentucky knew all too well, that the Louisville Police Department engaged in patterns of excessive force violating constitutional rights, discrimination, and the taking of lives. Another instance reminding us painfully that black lives do not matter in the United States of America, and that truth is systemic in our nation. 3 years ago, this campus and this city, this valley, and this country shut down as COVID-19 began its insidious and its deadly spread. And so I am aware that we also hold 3 years of collective trauma together. And so I light our candle of community for all that has been shared this morning, all that we hold in the precious silence of our own hearts, and also for all those who have no one to remember them on this day, no one to say their name with gentleness or love or kindness. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. It has been our custom for 3 years to light a second candle marking the number of those lost to COVID-19. Currently sits at 6.9 million worldwide. Today, on this third anniversary of the shutdown, will be the final time we light our COVID candle. We are aware that the pandemic continues. We are aware that those we love are still impacted, but we have moved into a new phase of the pandemic. And so this candle burns one last time in our sanctuary with a deep hope that we do not ever have to bring it back and kindle it again. So in the light of these candles, our call to meditation, there is a love, hay un amor.
Love.
our words of prayer or reflection come from poet Joy Harjo, who is a member of the Creek Nation. Joy Harjo draws on First Nations storytelling and histories and frequently incorporates indigenous myths, symbols, and values into her writing. She has served as this nation's poet laureate. Let us pray. O precious child of the universe, open your whole self to sky, to sun, to earth, to moon, to one whole voice that is you. And know there is more that you can't see, can't hear, can't know, except in moments steadily growing. And in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. Like eagle on that Sunday morning over Salt River, circled in blue sky, in wind, it swept our hearts clean with sacred wings. We see you, see ourselves, and know that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe in, knowing we are made of all this. And breathe out, knowing we are truly blessed because we were born and die soon within a true circle of motion, like eagle rounding out the morning inside us. We pray that it will be done in beauty, in beauty. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Oh, imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join us, and the world will imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. Nothing to kill or die for, and folks with empty hands. Oh, imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. One. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Stolen Thunder. and far too infrequently mentioned, all these arrangements that are so magnificent that allows Jimmy to just fly to the stratosphere. Lorenzo, our music director. One of the core 8 principles of Unitarian Universalism is affirming and promoting the use of democracy in our congregations and in society at large. Our children learn that being truly religious means making sure that everyone has a voice and everyone has a vote. This principle is connected to the first principle of Unitarian Universalism, which affirms and promotes the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And in order to affirm and promote that inherent dignity, everyone deserves a free ability to vote. Our guest speaker this morning is passionately committed to this principle and to preserving our democracy that is currently under attack in unprecedented ways. The Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch is the president and CEO of Interfaith Alliance. An ordained Baptist minister, Reverend Paul is a longtime leader in the interfaith movement, working to protect an inclusive vision of religious freedom for people of all faiths and no faith. Reverend Paul is the featured speaker and teacher of this year's Fresno Interfaith Scholar Weekend, which began with a terrific keynote and panel discussion on Friday night at St. Paul Catholic Newman Center, continued yesterday at Temple Beth Israel, and today ends at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Interfaith Alliance was founded in 1994 in the midst of the growing entanglement between religion and politics. Its founders sought to show that the religious right was not the only authentic voice of faith in this country, and that the Constitution protects the rights of each individual to believe as they choose to believe, but to not impose those beliefs on others. Interfaith Alliance is the only national interfaith organization dedicated to protecting the integrity of both religion and democracy in the United States. To this end, Interfaith Alliance works to advance federal policy initiatives and key legislation that protect freedom of belief and ensure that all Americans receive equal treatment under the law. To do this, they work through policy research, public education, grassroots activism, and advocacy on Capitol Hill and in communities such as ours. And I'm happy to say that Fresno does have a chapter of Interfaith Alliance. And Babs Eskin, a key member through many, many, many years. Before Reverend Paul comes up and speaks to us, I'm going to invite us to join our voices with his in a song, singing about an America that could be and should be, and that we are committed to creating together. You're going to recognize the melody, but many of the words may surprise and hopefully inspire you. These words started with a radical Catholic nun, and then over time they've been adapted and adapted, including adapted by some Unitarian Universalists, including Lorenzo. So please rise, embody your spirit, and let us sing a song, How Beautiful Our Spacious Skies.
1, 2, 3.
How beautiful our spacious skies, our amber waves of grain, our purple mountains as they rise above the fruited plain. America, America, life's gracious gifts abound, and more we're grateful for life's bounty all around. Indigenous and immigrant, to all who harm's been done, oh, may we never rest content till all are truly one. America, America, life grant that we may be community with dignity, from sea to shining sea. How beautiful, sincere lament, the wisdom born of tears, the courage called for to repent, the bloodshed through the years. America, America, life grant that we may be a nation blessed with none oppressed, true land of liberty. How beautiful continent, this island in the sea. Our dream of peace, non-violence, all people paid justly. America, America, life grant that we may be a country dear, where people here all live in harmony.
Please be seated.
Well, let me start by saying buenos dias. Good morning. I am so overjoyed to be here today as kind of a final moment of this time in Fresno, but not my last time in Fresno. I've had such a I've had such a moving weekend here with many of you. You've inspired me in ways I'm not sure that you quite understand, and given me hope, even in the face of so much that we're going through. To be at a Unitarian church, my grandparents were lifelong Unitarians, and were members of the Unitarian Church in Madison, Wisconsin, that was built by Frank Lloyd Wright. And it had light coming in just like this, and it was a place where light and life and love could come in and flow out, and a sense that it was not a sanctuary that was built to protect or divide or isolate, but actually was meant as a place where all could come, be refreshed, and go and continue to be part of a broader community. So I feel very welcomed here. Thank you, Reverend Tim, for your welcome. And thank you to the entire community in Fresno for such a really marvelous weekend. And I'm gonna single him out again because Jim Grant has just done such a great job. Where's Jim? Is he here somewhere? Yeah. Listen, this is your last year doing it, so you're not going to get this kind of praise next time I come, but I do want to recognize what an important role you've played. So this morning's sermon is titled, Shall Christian Nationalists Win? The Critical Role of Congregations in Protecting Our Diverse Democracy. I want to focus on the power that we have in our spiritual and religious communities that is absolutely crucial for meeting the current moment. The title of my talk is a reference to a sermon preached in 1922 by Harry Emerson Fosdick at First Presbyterian Church in New York City. It was titled, Shall the Fundamentalists Win? It was one of the most famous Christian sermons in the country and was referenced for decades later because there was such a concern among many Christians that there was this group of their fellow co-religionists that were so fixated on scriptural inerrancy, apocalyptic worldviews, and intolerant of dissent. Well, Reverend Fosdick was kicked out of his church for preaching that sermon. However, it was a serious sermon and an important sermon. However, the religious and theological concerns that Fosdick addressed in the 1920s only hinted at the adverse effect that Christian fundamentalism had on society in the early 20th century and in the decades since. A century later, we are faced with an even more serious threat. One that takes the theological language of Christian fundamentalism and grafts it onto a ruthless political machine intent on using the power of the state to enforce its worldview on the entire society. So I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about what Christian nationalism is. It's an ideology. It's a quest for power and a lens through which a growing number of Americans view their role in our society. It is not new, but recent events, specifically January 6th, where people were waving Jesus banners and holding up crosses as they rushed the Capitol, killed people, and devastated a moment of transition, peaceful transition of power in an attempt to thwart our democracy. Christian nationalism has its roots in the dangerous myth that we were founded as a Christian nation and that Christianity holds a privileged place in our nation that must be preserved at all costs. They use Christian rhetoric of the Christian nation with its underpinnings of white supremacy, xenophobia, patriarchy, and authoritarianism to dictate who is a true American and who will be relegated to perennial outsider status. The goal of Christian nationalism is the consolidation of power in the hands of an exclusive religious and political movement that is using the churches, the courts, and increasingly electoral politics to gain power over the majority of American people. The goal of Christian nationalism is the establishment of a theocracy. Unfortunately, Christian nationalism is not relegated to the shadowed corners of our country. A poll recently released by Public Religion Research Institute indicates that close to 30% of Americans are either adherents or sympathetic to Christian nationalism. And among white evangelical Protestant, that number jumps to nearly 2 out of 3. Over 1 in 4 Americans believe that the United States should declare itself a Christian nation. As journalist and author Catherine Stewart recently wrote in The New Republic, Christian nationalists are increasingly framing their battle, their efforts as a spiritual battle that resonates with many of its Pentecostal or charismatic followers. Christian nationalism puts the power of Jesus, their side, versus the power of Satan, which it will not surprise all of you is all of us. The spiritualization of political power introduces a zero-sum game into politics, in which compromise is capitulation, and which nothing less than God's favor is at stake. And these stakes lead to violence. And violence is acceptable in Christian nationalist worldview, who approve of using violence to gain their means at 7 times the rate of average Americans. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans assert that not only is the United States a white Christian nation, but they are willing to fight to preserve it. If you are alarmed, you are paying attention. Because we should be alarmed. But that does not mean we need to lose hope. It does mean that we need to be aware and that we need to be responsive and we need to get busy. The good news is, as of now, Christian nationalism continues to be unpopular. 70% of Americans reject the call to declare America a Christian nation. Close to 75% of Americans say they prefer a country made up of a diversity of faiths, not just Christianity. 80% of Americans reject the idea that Christians should exercise dominion over all areas of American society. Christian nationalist views on race, gender, immigration, and LGBTQ people are also unpopular and out of step with the American public. Good news. Yeah, you can clap for that. Yet we are in a crucial moment to make sure that this does not grow, that these numbers do not change, and that political organizing on the other side, on the part of a small minority, does not overwhelm us. It will take all of us to counteract the influence of Christian nationalist ideology and defend our democracy. Spiritual and religious congregations like this one will play a critical role because of the power you have. And I'm just going to say a word about power. Patti Smith says, people have the power. It's okay to have power. It's how we use it. We need to be thinking in terms of the power we have. In this moment, when civic spaces and where people traditionally congregate, such as public schools, higher education, and libraries, are being hollowed out intentionally by people who distrust civic spaces, the physical campuses that house spiritual and religious congregations can serve as welcoming locations where people can continue to come together and find common ground, common purpose. Isolation and separation are the enemies of democracy. When we come together and grow in trust and understanding, we build a powerful inoculation against a culture of demonization and distrust in which Christian nationalism thrives. Many congregations, including this one, are already playing this role. And it would be powerful to see an interconnecting map of Fresno with dozens, maybe even hundreds of stars, signifying spiritual and religious communities that are destinations where diverse civic life is valued, and people from every background are invited to come together and know one another. In addition to locations when we can draw people in, congregations have networks to send people out for rapid mobilization and response. Congregations are people, and again, people are power. If a local temple, mosque, or other community has been targeted by bigotry and violence, as is increasingly the case, congregations like this one can bring out people to offer solidarity and support within hours. In addition to moments of crisis, congregations have the power to mobilize a diverse group of religious and spiritual people from a wide range of traditions to show up side by side in public forums, community rallies, to the voting booth, sending a clear signal to our elected officials and to our neighbors that we reject the exclusivist claims of Christian nationalism and demand that this community be a place where people of all faiths and all backgrounds are treated equally under the law. Congregations can also provide a hub of reliable information sharing and education. Knowledge is power. And congregations are places of learning about spiritual traditions and practices, but also about the world in which we live. Reading books together, watching films, educating ourselves about our country's history and the experience of diverse Americans in an environment of open inquiry is more important now than ever, when there is so much disinformation at work. As we know, Christian nationalists are attempting to erase our history with book bans and restriction on African American study AP courses. We need to mobilize to reverse those efforts, but also in the meantime, the learning can go on inside of our congregations. I know one pastor in Florida who is organizing an accredited African American Studies AP course in his church, for which the students will receive credit. In a conversation I had with a Christian theologian, Diana Butler Bash, she suggested that every congregation should look at the banned book list in their local community and buy those books. And put them in their library, in the congregation, for people to invite people in and show them there's nothing to be afraid of in hearing a diverse set of voices. As I was writing this sermon, a seminary classmate of mine posted that she was reading from her church's banned book brunch selection, which I was like, people are being creative right now. This is tragic that it has come to this. But it does call upon a great part of the religious tradition in America where congregations have been a place of resistance, as well as location where truth is protected and shared. Perhaps the greatest contribution of congregations to this effort will not be what, but how we will approach the struggle against Christian nationalism. I confess to you that Christian nationalism and the people who are its followers really frighten me. As a gay man with a husband and 2 children, I hear the words they use to talk about me, and I fear what they would do to my family. And I find my hand balling into a fist as I prepare for the fight ahead. One of the ongoing conversations from this weekend has been what it means to win or lose in this struggle against Christian nationalism. In my talk on Friday, I used militaristic language such as defeat when talking about the fight ahead. We are in a dangerous situation. I would say existential situation for our democracy. And we need to be heads up about the threat. However, it is worth considering how we shall engage this struggle so that we do not become that which we hate. This is perhaps the most important role that congregations from all religious traditions can play in this current moment. I want to share a passage from my own Christian tradition, 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and angels but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all the mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I might boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way, it is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And now faith and hope and love abide, these 3. The greatest of these is love. This reading that is so recognizable to many of us from the weddings was not actually about love between 2 people. It was written to an early Christian church in Corinth that was divided by issues of class, gender, background, and different ways to practice their faith. Earlier in the letter, Paul attempts to persuade the church how much they need each other, and that the diversity within their church was part of what made them the followers of Christ. And in this passage, he acknowledges that there are many ways for followers of Jesus to practice their faith, but there is only one characteristic that is most important, and that is love. One more confession. Yeah, I definitely clap. And now I'm going to confess. When I hear about love, when I feel angry or threatened, as I do about Christian nationalism, it is hard to contain the eye roll. I mean, come on. Love. However, when I look to the spiritual leaders I admire the most, they talk about love. Yesterday, our local teacher, guru, where's Dr. Kapoor? Are you here? Where are we? Oh, right there, Dr. Kapoor. Led us in a pledge against hate and invited us to read the wisdom from Gandhi, who said, "The nectar of love alone can destroy the poison of hate." And Gandhi's student, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who told us hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden. And Nelson Mandela said, no one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin or background or his religion. People learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than the opposite. The challenges Christian nationalism poses to our country are grave, but they are no more grave than what Dr. King, Mahatma Gandhi, or Nelson Mandela faced. They chose love because they looked into the deep well of their spiritual traditions and they saw that the path of love offered the greatest resources and tactics that would eventually lead to the future they longed for. The opportunity is for us to do the same, and it starts in a way that is very personal. And the local congregation can help each of us learn how we can access the love in our own spirits, hearts, and minds. How do we learn the discipline of love? Because it is hard to learn. It requires practice. But as so many of our spiritual forebears remind us, it can be done. And we will be strong with our love. Each diverse congregation will call upon its particular wisdom, which is the beauty of this, and we can learn from one another as other traditions of love become a source of power for all of us. We can also learn the collective practice of love, which is nonviolence resistance. I did an interview with Representative John Lewis about his time in the civil rights movement, and he told me that people had to be trained in nonviolence before they were ever allowed to go out to a protest. Our congregations can be a place where we can learn the deep roots of nonviolent protest and show up with love and the power of love, even as we resist the powers that would demean or destroy us. Congregations will also bring the love, the banner of love, into our wider community and democracy. Dr. Cornel West has said that justice is what love looks like in public, and we can bring that justice, love with us, and we can bring that love, that justice into our democracy. Love can and must be our guide, our tactic, our power, as our congregations mobilize in this great challenge to our democracy. And I believe that love will overcome hate, that love will overcome fear, that love will overcome division, that love will overcome Christian nationalism. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall and we must overcome. Amen.
upon the hill there is a terrible sign that tells the story of what darkness waits if we leave the light behind. So don't tell me hate is ever right or God's will. These are the wheels we put in motion ourselves, and the whole world breathes and is weeping still. Though shaken, I still believe the best of what we all can be. The only peace this world will know can only come from love. I am a voice that's calling out across the great divide, and I'm only just one person who feels they have to try. And questions fall like trees or dust and rise like prayers above. But the only word is courage, and the only answer is love. So don't tell me hate is ever right or God's will. These are the wheels we put in motion ourselves, and the whole world bleeds and is weeping still. Though shaken, I still believe the best of what we all can be. The only peace this world will know can only come from love. Light every candle that we can. We need some light to see in these days of deepest lost street. Each other tenderly in arms of love we'll gather, and a spell that falls but makes no separation, just fiercely love us all. So don't tell me hate is ever right or God's will. These are the wheels we put in motion ourselves, and the whole world weeps and is weeping still. Though shaken, I still believe the best of what we all can be. The only peace this world will know can only come from love. No, don't tell me hate is ever right or God's will. These are the wheels we put in motion ourselves, and the whole world weeps and is weeping still. Though shaken, I still believe the best of what we all can be. The only peace this world will know can only come from love. Can only come from love. Can only come from love. Love. Thank you. Thank you.
Jimmy Haney, Jenny Lewis, Stolen Thunder. Jimmy, we love it when you sing. It's awesome. So on the second Sunday of each month, we hold a special offering for a social justice group, organization, or individual that is in alignment with our Unitarian Universalist values. This Sunday, we are pleased to welcome Cameron Kobose and Connie Young, who will share briefly about the important work of Earth Day Fresno. Please welcome them.
Steve Sachs and the social justice team for choosing Earth Day Fresno to be one of your social justice collection recipients and for the time to speak today. My name is Cameron Cabose. I am the executive director of a new nonprofit, Central Valley Young Environmental Advocates, and I'm the lead event organizer for Earth Day Fresno. We are very excited to announce that this year, after a 3-year hiatus due to the pandemic, the event is back in person and will take place on Saturday, April 22nd at Fresno City College. This year's co-sponsors are the Environmental Collaborative of Central California and the Fresno City College Math, Science, and Engineering Division. Earth Day Fresno is a free outdoor festival that will feature educational exhibits, a bike clinic, all electric vehicle test drives, children's activities, local cuisine, and much more. We will also have nonprofit organizations, local government agencies, and local businesses to provide information, goods, and services related to sustainable living and environmental stewardship. We are really excited to be putting on this event, and we thank you for your support. I will now pass it over to Connie. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. The Earth Day Fresno organizers share your grief at our loss of Dawn DeLozier. Dawn was an enthusiastic member of our group since 2010, when the UU Social Justice Team and others revived the tradition of an annual Earth Day event beginning here at the UU, a tradition which continues to the present. In fact, Dawn was the only person on our planning team to hold the same position every year since 2010. She coordinated the entertainment, which enlivened the event with the inspiring music and dance of many talented performers, including Stolen Thunder. Dawn intentionally recruited entertainers from Fresno's diverse ethnic and cultural communities. It will be impossible to fill her shoes, but this year we'll do our best, and I'm sure her spirit will be with us. So thank you again for your generous support, and I hope you'll join us on April 22nd.
All money that you share this morning will go to support Earth Day Fresno. In the spirit of giving, let's join our voices together in our call of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Here's a slide that's going to show how you can make a financial contribution right now on our virtual campus, or if you're here on our Alluvial Avenue campus, you can always drop cash or a check in the basket on your way out of the sanctuary, or you can share generously right at this minute by using Cash App. Just send your contribution to $UU Fresno. The morning offering for Earth Day Fresno will now be gratefully received.
The flame of our chalice will be extinguished for another week. But first, let's hear these words from Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson. Reverend Johnson is the senior minister at the Unitarian Universalist Church of South Fork, New York, and serves on the organizing collective board for Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. We are the ones we have been waiting for.
Not yet.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's good.
No. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can honestly face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Please join us in our chalice extinguishing words led by Karen and Troy.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
We extinguish this flame,
but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Tim, you have a few reminders for us.
How did you know that, Tina? Just a few quick reminders. How to exit the sanctuary. We do allow our socially distanced folks to head out first, and then the rest of you are welcome to exit the sanctuary through the side doors. We will have coffee hour outside because the rains have held off. Outside also will be a question and answer table with our board president, Adeline. So if you are new or newish to the congregation and have questions about this church or about Unitarian Universalism, Adeline's warmth and genuine leadership will be waiting for you outside at that table. I've also been asked to remind you that next week is our third Sunday food collection. Food needed for families in need at Valley Children's Hospital and the El Dorado Park neighborhood are cereal, mac and cheese, canned corn, and any single-serving foods or soups that can be microwaved. The ushers will hand you slips of paper with those food items so that you can bring them next week if you're on our Alluvial Avenue campus. Next Sunday will be another introduction to Unitarian Universalism beginning at 12:15. We will have light lunch for you, and then we will plunge deeply into the beliefs and history of Unitarian Universalism. This is perfect for anybody who is new or newish to this faith tradition. We do also have a tradition of having the honor of welcoming folks who are with us for the first, second, or third time. We do this not to embarrass you, but we are genuinely glad that you could have been anywhere today and you chose to be here. So if this is your first, second, or third time, could you please stand up for a moment? We won't leave you standing alone for long. So first, second, third visit, please stand. Welcome, 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 welcome. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them for our closing words and our sung benediction. If you came in a pod, please join hands. If you came on your own, your hands over your precious beating heart. So, picking up from Reverend Paul's inspiring sermon, the closing words are simple, and I'm going to invite you to say them with me several times. It is simply, love will show the way. So let's try this together. Love will show the way. Love will show the way. Love will show the way. One last time. Love will show the way. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
2, 3, 4.